Hey guys, welcome to the first thing that we're going to go over on this episode 2 of Bridge the Gap. So, bankroll management is so incredibly important. I can't stress it to you guys enough. It's going to be the one thing that keeps you guys in the game. It's going to be the one thing that helps you keep a level head when the bottom is seemingly falling out, when you're frustrated, you're upset. We're going to be able to see what our results are, take a look at our sample size, and be able to hang in the pocket when we're facing a full-on blitz of losses or feels like we've gone a week without winning. That'll certainly happen. And how do we overcome that? Well, we can anchor ourselves to our long-term results. So we're going to start out. I'm going to show you guys on a daily basis. We're going to start from scratch on every single sport. We're going to go through this together. And I'm going to walk you through my process right now of how I manage my bankroll. Again, it's going to be so incredibly simple. You guys are going to be upset that you've never seen anything like this because it's going to be way better than anything you're going to find online. Again, the majority of bankroll management online is 80-20 cash to GPP, and don't put more than 10% of your bankroll in play. Now, one of the aspects in that is good is how much of your bankroll should you put in play? Well, that's a great question, and it depends on your bankroll, but I think if you want to be great at this and you're up to the challenge, this is a disciplined challenge, what I'm about to show you guys. There's not a lot of glory in it. It's hard, but if you can do it, you're going to prove that you belong. And we'll start here. So this is my homepage. At the end of every day, I update my results. And every day I'll update my results with you guys, or as many days as I can. And we'll just go through this bankroll challenge. We'll go through it together, and I'll show you exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis. So let me first walk you through this Google Sheet. I can email it to anybody who wants it. I've created this myself, and if you want to email me, my email is alldayjg@yahoo.com, all day. I'm the original all day. I was all day before AP because I don't sleep. Alldayjg@yahoo.com, and hit me up on Twitter @swimjg, and we can connect and I'll get you the sheet. So first thing I want to go over is game selection. So I play in the 150 max entry contest because that is what the high stakes are. So if you want to be able to be the best at that game, you should start at the smallest stakes. Now, not everybody's bankroll can afford this, so I would certainly recommend not doing this right away unless you've proven that you can win at the other stakes. But I do it, and I'll do it for the sake of our experiment. But that's what this column is. Classic, these are going to be your classic slates. I'm going to do a separate spreadsheet of this for every single game and league that I play in. That way we can see how we're performing at every sports. Again, I think it's important to track everything down to the smallest detail. That way you can see where you're having success, where you're siphoning off cash, and get better where you're losing, and keep your process where you're winning. So at baseball, the classic, these are just going to be your classic slates, your classic games, the one that's yours too. Micro boosters. I play in every single micro booster. It's a great way to build your bankroll, slow and steady. And some of these other categories, playing a lot of volume, diversifying your game selection, playing where you can be successful is really going to accelerate your growth and help you avoid some of the pitfalls of a losing streak. I play the showdown slates, and I like the winner take alls. Satellites are very, very key for building bankroll, but I keep that in a separate category because what you win in a satellite is a ticket and not necessarily cash. So I want to keep this outside of my role. When we put satellites into play, I'll show you guys how to do that, what that looks like, and then how to factor that back into your overall bankroll, which that would fall in the classic category here. So let's dive in to what these individual sheets look like. Most of them are going to be similar or the same. So I'll start here at the 150. So everything that we have is going to follow a similar model. So I've built levels into this thing, and we want to grow, and we want to know, hey, when I get to X level, what buy-in am I playing at? What do I do? So if you bank a big tournament and your bankroll goes from $1,000 to $25,000 overnight, what do? Okay, so we've built that in. So we know what to do all the way, every step of the way. I think I have 30 levels here. So boom, when I'm playing at Chipotle Attic and Asimo levels, I'll know what to do. And I'll probably adjust along the way because I'm at level 4 or lower on most of this stuff. But again, this is where we're at for the 150. Most of the 150 buy-ins at baseball are going to be $1. Sometimes it's usually on Thursdays that they're 50 cents just because there's a smaller slate of games that day. But I wouldn't recommend playing this if you're not an experienced player. My ROI is the smallest out of the games that I play. I think my ROI in the $150 Minimax dollar tournament is around 12%, and my winning rate is just at 25%. So it's a pretty frustrating tournament. I've won it once back in June. A couple second place, third place, a couple top 5 finishes, but not nearly yielding the results that I want. But it's still fun, and again, it's good experience too. Hey, if we win a play at the 150 entry contest, $5 level, compete for $50,000 a night. Well, we can't do that if we don't know how we're performing in the smaller stakes. That would be a poor way to allocate your funds. Moving over to the Classic tab, and we'll record all of our results here on the left on a day-to-day basis, and we'll start doing that once we have some games. I built in this little area right here to see how we're performing in certain slates. Right now I'm really struggling in the 2-game slates, so you guys will see that probably will not perform well for me right now. But at the same time, it's going to give us an opportunity to see, okay, well, what we're doing isn't working. What can we adjust? Most of my success has come in the 3 to 12 game range with a couple of pops in the 14 game slate. But this is a great this is the true tool for building your bankroll and bankroll management. And this is a method that I use. So I start at what I call level 0. Basically, this is for anybody. It doesn't matter what type of bankroll or what kind of income you have. You can start here. And you want to play up to the dollar level. So you're playing all the quarter arcades. You're playing all the micro boosters at a quarter. You're playing all the satellites at a quarter, the winner take alls at a quarter. If you need more action than that because you want to play more than $5 or $10 a slate, I understand that, and you would want to go up at that point to the dollar level. Again, if you overextend yourself, you're going to kill the life of your bankroll. So you really want to just go slow. And all of our levels have built-in stop gaps. So let's say we play tonight and we win $300. Okay, well, we've just graduated to level 1. So we'll highlight this, put tomorrow's date. We'll turn this one to green because we've completed the level. Oops. And then we finish it on this date. So we go to level 1 and we'll adjust. So your buy-in, this is going to be the contest buy-in, is going to correlate with the level that you're on. So again, we've only made $250. And again, it's hard to justify playing more money than the quarter and dollar buy-ins. This is probably why you're losing, is you're trying to be too big too fast. You have no right going up in levels if you can't turn basically your initial investment into $250. If you turn, $250 profit at the quarters and the dollars, you're doing something right. You're on the right path. You probably have a winning strategy. And at that point, it's just a matter of staying within the levels. These levels have been vetted, so it forces you to stay at a certain level. And that the method behind that madness is to build up your sample size so that you know what you're doing is working. It's not just one lucky tournament. You're repeating it, and at the same time, you're not overextending yourself. Now, let's say, we've gone on a pretty sick run, and we beat level 2 or level 1, going to level 2, and as through this weekend, boom, we're there. We're heading into September. So 9-1, we'll start level 2. And level 2, just the week from hell. We suck a bag of D's, and we're we've lost $200. Okay, well, you'll notice the formula that I've created for all of the stop gaps is 80% of this column here. So basically, once you've lost 20% of your initial buy-in of that level, so $500 bankroll, you got to go back down in levels. And this is where the discipline comes in, because nobody wants to go back. No one wants to take a step back. Everybody wants to continue to go forward, chase those big scores, and that's probably why you're here. You've probably burnt through your bankroll. You probably are a winning player or a winning-er player. I know that's not a word, but we'll roll with it. But you're consistently flaming out your bankroll because you don't have the discipline to drop back down in stakes. So let's say, okay, well, that sucks. We had to drop back down to level 1, and we've got a $400 bankroll, and we got to play at the $1, and we got to give up the $2 buy-ins for a couple days. Hey, that's fine. Because if you're at $400, guess where level 2 is? It's $100, man. So you're probably only going to have to drop down for a day or two. If you can have the discipline to operate this way, your life is going to be a hell of a lot more peaceful. You'll be able to weather the storms and wait for the spikes a lot sooner, a lot easier, because you can see, you know what, if you get up to here, level 4, and you lose $500 in one night, well, guess what? You're still at $4,500 on the year, man. Like, that's great. That's tremendous progress for a new player. That's tremendous progress for anyone. You know, most people making $4,500 of profit can't do that. You know, driving Uber. I mean, you can, but it'd take you a lot more time. So this is what it looks like on the classic slate. Again, the micro boosters. Similar process. We want to track every single type of contest, how it's treating us, and this is going to be the same for the satellites, the showdowns, and the winner take alls. And one of the unique things is that all of these have a built-in formula, where we'll just do a mock example here. So 8:24, I'm on the West Coast, so let's say it was a 7:07 p.m. start time. It's a 3-game slate. We put $50 into play. We won $150. This formula, I'll just program it real quick, is E2 minus G2. So it shows that we won $100, and then this will help track our win rate. So anytime I make money on a slate, I count that as a win, and I'll put that in a 0 and a loss, okay? So let's say today there was also a 505 slate. It was a 5-gamer. Again, we put in our $50. And this $50, what that $50 is, it's let's say 4 quarter arcades and, you know, $35 or so in the $1 buy-in. But let's say we sucked on this slate. Okay, copy our formula. And I always like to go back and highlight a win or a loss. And you'll notice every time we put something new in, sorry, that should be red, it'll auto-populate over here. So we have a 2-game sample size here. We started out with nothing. We're up $85. We're at the $1 buy-in level. We've got an 85% ROI, return on our investment, a 50% winning percentage. And again, just to clarify, we're on level 1. What we'll then do is on our 3-game slate, hey, we've got $100 of profit here. And we'll want to highlight that because, hey, if we're making money, it's a good sign. What we're doing is working. You know, at 5-game slate, you lost $15. That's basically your rake. So nothing to be too upset about, just something to keep an eye on. And then if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, pretty far down here, these are built in. Trying to find out what 250. Okay, so this is where the formula is. So what you're seeing at the top that auto-populates, this is the formula, and this is where we get our ROI. We put $100 in play. We won $185. Our profit is $85. 1 win, 1 loss. Scroll back up, and that's where you get the data here. And then what I would do at the end of the day is I would go to my main sheet, and I would put in, we're up $85 on the classic slates. We're at the $1 buy-in. That's still the same. We've got an 85% ROI, a 50% winning percentage. And as we go, we'll collect this data along the way. And in the event of a losing streak, if you're hitting a downturn of variance, we can come back here and see, okay, well, you know what? We're doing okay. It sucks. Nobody likes winning. Or excuse me, everybody likes winning. Nobody likes losing. But at least we don't have to overreact. We can say, well, you know what? If I've got a 25% winning percentage and I've lost the last 3 days in a row, which is very common, that's going to happen. Well, statistically, if a large enough sample size, you've lost your 3 days, you're winning 1 out of 4 days. Well, a winning day is probably right around the corner. It's not guaranteed to come the next day, but continue to weather the storm, build up the sample size, stay disciplined, hang in the pocket, have the discipline to drop down levels during a downturn, or stay at a current level during a winning streak if you're not entirely there, and you're going to be just fine. So I hope you guys find this helpful. Again, email me at alldayjg@yahoo.com or connect with me on Twitter at swimjg, and I'll get you a copy of this template that we have on a Google Doc. I can send it to you in Excel. You can adjust the level as you like or feel comfortable, but this is just what I use. This is what I work with. I've tested it. I've vetted it. I've tried to pick it apart, and I keep coming back to how it's already set up. And as you guys can see, I tried to make it as simple as possible. Hey, when you're here, these are the levels you play at. You can play here until you lose 20% of whatever this level is at. You know, if you're at level 3 and you're at $3,000, you're not quite to 5, and you lose $1,000 and you're still $2,000, well, guess what? You can hang here because you're still above your threshold of your stopgap. So this is John, and this is episode 2 of Bridge the Gap on bankroll management and what works for me. And we'll continue to get better, and we'll start with tonight's results to get this plugged in so you guys can see what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. And we'll just track it every single day, and you guys can see how long it takes me. And I will pull out of my results the quarters, the dollars. So that's where we're going to start for this experiment, is see how we do at the quarter and the dollar buy-ins.